Bye-bye, Barry. Bye-bye. Yeah. So I watched the documentary of Barry Sanders and the Bye-Bye Barry documentary. That was on, I think, Amazon or something like that. One of those platforms. But anyway, watching it, a lot of stuff I already knew, right? Already knew. There were some things that I didn't, and I'll highlight those in just a moment. But I don't understand why people were so surprised that Barry retired. I don't understand why people were upset that he retired right before training camp. Look, here's the thing about football. One thing, I never played the game of football and I understand this. This is not a game. This isn't ping pong, with no disrespect to ping pong or anything like that. This is not pool. This isn't a sport where you can just come in and go as you please and be all willy-nilly. There are guys trying to tear your head off each and every time. And you have to be fully invested to do this. And people are saying, well, maybe Barry wanted to go to another team. That's not Barry's style. If you've watched his career, that's not his style, right? He wanted to do it in Detroit. Watching the documentary just proved what I've been saying for the longest. And then what I did find out that I did not know, maybe somebody else knew this, but that conversation between him and Wayne Fontes, where he was talking about Joe Montana wanted to come to Detroit, but Detroit felt that Joe Montana was too old, past his prime. Then they were talking about Warren Moon, said he was too old. Now remember, I'll go back to Joe Montana. He went to Kansas City and took them to the AFC Championship game, almost went to the Super Bowl. Right? Warren Moon played on for years. He played for Minnesota and he went on to have a Hall of Fame career. This is the stuff that I've been talking about being a Lions fan. When I talk about the culture from the top down, that's an office move. That's an executive move, that you don't want to have Joe Montana or Warren Moon in your, I'm sorry. Again, I'm a Lions fan, but I'm sorry. I didn't understand that we had this winning culture, that we could just say something like that. But watching the documentary just proves my point in it, is that it starts from the top and it goes down. And Barry saw it. They start making moves. And I said this before, I love the Detroit Lions. But I am a realist, that I understand that Detroit is not a free agent destination place. Not a free agent destination place. If you look at all the successful, majority of the successful Detroit Lions that they've ever had, they have drafted, not a free agent. So you got to get it right in the draft, and we struggled with the draft. But going back to the documentary on this, there's a lot of stuff I already knew. Barry was never, ever, ever about the fame. He was never about the money. It was all about the game. And for people to get upset, that he retired, you can't have it both ways. You can't have an athlete who's all about the money, all about the fame, all about the showmanship and doing all this stuff. Then you start criticizing that person for being selfish, about me. Where Barry was never about me. It was always about the team. And looking at the team, you could see that the Detroit Lions were not headed in the right direction. And he's in year 9, going to year 10 or something like that, or he was in year 10. And he realized what I knew long time ago at that time. I was a little pup and I realized it, that Detroit's not going to win anytime soon. They're not going to have a successful season anytime soon. That's not what I want to do. That means I'm playing the game for fame. I'm playing for money. I'm playing for the record to break Walter Payton. And that's never been Barry. So I don't understand why people were upset. Watching the documentary, the biggest thing I picked up is that what could have been if Warren Moon or Joe Montana end up playing for the Lions. I can't say that that's just going to result in us being in the playoffs and everything, but those caliber of players could have helped. They played long into their career. They showed that they still could play. But again, management, not now. They're doing stuff different, but management back then, we always kept shooting ourselves in the foot. But overall, I love the documentary. I love watching. I love him having a discussion with his sons. And at the end of the day, I said it before, I'll say it again. The brother is just about playing football. That's what it was. Once when he was done, he was done. Once when he lost, the will to play football, he was able to walk away. And I commend him for that, because there are a lot of players, athletes, just athletes in general, that they can't walk away and be okay. And Barry was never that person. He was always, football was a part of his life, a portion of his life. It wasn't his life. And there's something to be said about that. So watch the documentary, man. It's a lot of other stuff that's in there. It's a lot of funny stuff, a lot of, good stuff to find out. But bye, Barry. And I understand why it was bye.